I never thought that there was going to be a day where I was going to think that tomorrow it was going to be better than today.
The group feels as well that right now is like a super good time to be here.
For example, JP Morgan already predicted that next year growth for Argentina is going to be like close to 8.5%.
Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my final weekend in Buenos Aires. It's been 6 months. I loved every second of being here, and I feel like, first of all, I want to be here for long term as well, some time, do a business partly here. I also feel like Argentina is on an upward trajectory, but to prove that and talk about this, there's an Argentinian friend here. Ariel?
Hey man, hey guys, how are you?
Thank you for doing this. So you do business for the US market or for the local market or both?
I'm currently doing for both. I have a lot of clients over the US and Europe, but I have 2 clients from Argentina right now. It's just mixing a little bit, especially right now. I feel there's a good trend to start doing business in Argentina, which until last year it was impossible. So yeah, I'm just trying to insert myself back into this market.
And the services that you do, because I know that you do an agency, and by the way, we are in the same entrepreneur group. We do meetups every Saturday, and it was super cool to have finally Argentinians in the group as well, who understand a lot more about the local stuff. So what is the services that you do?
So what I'm doing right now is basically coaching and consulting for social media marketing agencies, consultancy business, and coaching businesses who want to sell more. So what I do is install sales teams in there. I just make sure that they are performing as best as possible, and on top of that, I try to coach my clients into getting more results.
So, but the service that you provide then is kind of like an outsourced sales department, as well as teaching them how to do sales better.
Exactly. Okay. I'm not training their sales persons. I'm bringing my own team in there.
How long have you been doing this?
For the last 3 years, I've been doing the sales myself. I was working in like 3 or 4 different sales jobs at the same time, doing appointment setting, closing, depends, end-to-end sometimes. And this year, it was for me like a revelation point, like, hey, I need to start building my own business instead of me putting the work. Yeah. So I started to hire people and outsource that job. And then I saw that there was a lot of people who were super interested in that service. And yeah, right now what I'm basically doing is just bringing my own people. So it's been like 6 months right now. My whole team are Argentinian persons. They speak both Spanish and English. But yeah, I just want to provide jobs for people from my country. Things are a little bit tough still here. So I just want to help as many people as possible.
For me, like since I arrived, first of all, I think Argentinians are super nice, and I feel like the country has so much more potential, you know, with all the natural resources. It's a patriotic country as well, so it's not like people want to leave the country, but obviously you had like a tough period. How do you see now with Milei the liberalization of the market and the opportunities that it can bring?
Right now, what I feel is that this government has like a pretty straightforward economic idea, which is basically just make Argentina an energetic superpower, a country that is able to export a lot of natural resources. I feel things are going to go well. We start to see like every macroeconomic aspect of the economy starting to revert the trend and start to go upwards, but I still feel that it's important to fix the microeconomic aspect of the society. Like people, especially Argentinians, they are still going through a tough time. They are not making enough money to actually sustain themselves. But if things go as they plan, they will improve.
What I like on the concept of Milei is that he's always bringing up examples like Ireland, that is a liberal market, as liberal as it can get, and you know, like in general, people are ready for this as like a long-term process. And how long should it take?
We are all hanging on because we know what's coming next is better. Like we know the future is brighter. For me, I'm 29 years old right now, so I live throughout the Peronismo most of my life. I never thought that there was going to be a day where I was going to think that tomorrow it was going to be better than today. So this is the first time in a long time that we have hope. Like we are truly hope. Like the middle class is hope, even though things are tough. And we are all pushing together towards the same direction. So there's no way that things won't improve if we are all pushing through the same side.
For me, the craziest thing, when I went to Paraguay, I went to the local shops, and there was literally, the selection was as if I went to a Whole Foods in the States. Here, if I go to a shop, from yogurt, there is maybe 2 choices. When I went to Colombia, even like paying with card or taking out cash or anything, it was so much easier.
Yeah.
But because of this, if the boom starts, the boom is going to be super big. And that's why, as a foreigner, and I think everybody in the group feels as well, that right now is like a super good time to be here. How do you see, like in terms of technology or e-commerce, for example, like how much behind Argentina is, and like is this potential for a quick boom, or this is like, you know, the market liberalizes and then we wait for another 2-3 years until the infrastructure is there?
No, that's a really good question. So we are super behind everybody. That's a fact. But at the same time, when we can see what's happened this year, that after Milei won, everything, like our shares, like Argentinian shares, assets, everything started to boom, and it continues to boom. So the best moment to make insane amount of money, like 3, 4, 5, 10, 20x, was when Milei won. What's going to happen right now is that we'll probably see some growth, but it's going to be more sustained and more realistic. So everyone, I don't feel it's going to become a bubble, but right now it's kind of like in that process that if things go well, it's not a bubble. If things don't go well, it's definitely a bubble. But what I can say is that, for example, JP Morgan already predicted that next year growth for Argentina is going to be like close to 8.5%, which is insane. And if we continue to be like 8.5, 5.43, it's kind of like China did 20 years ago. I'm not saying we will become China. I really hope we do. But I feel it's the perfect time to start investing and creating opportunities here, because everything is so immature. Like if you see e-commerce ads, even in my case that I've been working with coaching and social media marketing agencies and consultancy businesses, everything, there's so much potential because people never invested here because there was never good returns. But when you see returns, money comes. And when money starts flowing, the market becomes more aggressive and better.
Yeah.
So I feel this is the perfect time if you want to invest right now.
In Europe, Poland is one of like the miracle economies. Germany used to outsource all the cheap labor to Poland, and Poland built out industries of this, tech, startups. One of the major retail companies for clothing is now Polish in Europe, Reserved. The reason why I bring this up is because they told me that Polish startups now build the initial product, the MVP in Poland, and then they bring it to Brazil. And I feel like now with the situation in Europe where growth is stagnating, I think the MERCOSUR and LATAM, in terms of both economics and in terms of like, you know, having a common sense, the way people behave and the way they think about society, I think it's just a great place. So I see good potential in that as well. Because my next project is going to be e-commerce, and I really want you to talk about e-commerce here and your experiences, because you've done an e-commerce project before.
3 years ago, when sales was booming, I was one of the pioneers in my friends group to start getting into sales, appointment setting, closing, and everything. And everyone just followed me into that trend, and everyone was working as appointment setters. And then when the boom stopped, all my friends shifted into e-commerce, and I did as well. So I have some experience doing that right now. My friends did extraordinarily well. Like we're talking about e-commerce making like 200K per year or even more, which is pretty good for Argentina. And the main problem that we had, or we used to have, is that it was impossible to import stuff. And the goods that we produce here in Argentina tends to be super expensive. Like if you see clothing right now, or even whatever you want to do, like tools for your home or things like that, they are expensive to produce them in Argentina. And not many people were able to import with the previous government. What I feel is going to happen is that the imports will start to open slowly, but still they will start to open, because that's what Milei believes. He believes in a free market. So if you are able to position a brand right now, it should be super easy in the near future to actually start selling. I'm going to give you one quick example, but for example, there are a lot of brands from Argentina that what they were doing was basically buying, I don't know, technology from China, disarmed. They just assembled that here and sold it as Argentinian goods, and it was a lie. So we are paying basically here, everything is like 4 or 5x the real price, like the market price. So if you can destroy that gap, someone selling at 3x will make like a lot of profit compared to what we are consuming right now. So there's huge potential because the margins that we are using are insanely big. So if you can position your brand right now, and that's why I want to go back to e-commerce and actually start doing that again, uh, there's a lot of money to be made, and you will help the society because we are providing better services or better goods at a better price. So that's what we need right now.
One more thing that made me think that Argentina is a really good place. I went to my first Argentinian networking event last week,
Okay.
talking in Spanish to people. And there, as well as when I was talking to this lawyer guy, it seems like that the people who are moving the needle in this country are pretty old. Like I would say closer to 60. And these people are going to retire. And, you know, you can also come into this market probably buying an existing business. I feel like if you're young and have the ambition and the motivation, then also from that aspect, this place can be pretty good.
Yep. And on top of that, I want to add something. The only downside that our country has is that even though it's good for some things, is that we are far away from a lot of places. So there's a lot of things that we will need to produce and we will need to build and services that we need to provide precisely here because we cannot, it's going to be cheaper to produce it here than logistically bringing some things over here. What's happening is that the middle, like the millennials, let's call them the millennials, people from 25 to 35, 40, a lot of them started to leave a couple of years ago. So the people with the ability to think and to build, a lot of them left the country and they are coming back now. But those who stay here, there's a big advantage for them. And at the same time, for example, you have guys with companies. It's super common, like you go out, you speak with someone, and they tell you, yeah, my dad has companies. But and what do you do? No, I've been living in Barcelona for the past 4 years. I just came back. So those older guys will need to retire, as you say. Yeah. And there's a lot of opportunity there. If you just come with the money now that it's cheap, you can buy whatever you want. And it's still cheap. That's the advantage.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'm also thinking, like, if I can do the business that I want and, you know, set it up here, and just the fact that I can build that into a case study, when the EU finally signs the MERCOSUR trade agreement, that's going to create a lot of opportunities. And when the market opens up here, that's going to mean that a lot of people will want to come in here. So even if you can do it and you can sell it as a service to other, even big companies, that, hey, I can help you land in Argentina, which opens up access to the MERCOSUR, it's a huge win.
Yeah, no, my thought with that is, or what I feel is going to happen, is that Argentina slowly wants to retreat from the MERCOSUR because it's becoming more like an anchor instead of something that is boosting us. What's going to happen undoubtedly is that we will have an agreement with the US. So we'll probably provide raw materials and we'll probably provide all the technology that we're lacking, all the good products at a good price. So if we can do that, and that alliance actually stays over time, there's so much potential here, like insane potential.
Yeah, but it's crazy to think about it. There was some UN voting a couple days or weeks ago where the only countries that voted against a bill, it was actually about Palestine, but the only countries that voted against were US, Israel, Argentina, Paraguay, and two countries that I haven't even heard about. Like, never seen even their flags. Some Polynesian, I don't know. So that just shows the level of cooperation that exists between these countries. And, you know, I think whether you like the Israel and the US or not, like in terms of technology and in terms of growth, like they are the winners.
Yeah. And on top of that, you can agree or not with what the government is doing, but my recommendation to everyone who's living here or plans to live here or just do business here is that this is the game and these are the rules of the game right now. Like we cannot change them. You have someone who wants to connect with Israel, who wants to connect with the US, and right now they're including Italy into the package because Prime Minister of Italy or President, I don't know who she is, like Meloni, she came here 2 days ago and they are already building this idea of these 4 countries, just building the Occidental values, like trying to keep that, and the freedom values. So yeah, what I think is that these are the rules. If we take advantage of them, you can make a lot of profit.
Yeah, I mean, any closing remarks that you have?
Honestly, I've been living here almost most of my life. I live a little bit abroad. I live in the US, I live in Europe. There's no place for me like Argentina, and there's no place like Buenos Aires. I feel the moment that you guys are living right now is not something super common. So I'm really happy that you had the opportunity to actually live this. And honestly speaking, I feel the future is way better. I feel the world is getting a little bit messy. There are a lot of values that are getting lost. And I feel my country will start to represent those values. And I think that's what we really need right now. We need more peace, we need more love, we need more freedom. And I really hope that my country actually becomes like a role country for everybody to follow.
Brother, you couldn't put it nicer. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, bro. I appreciate it.